Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also make sure you turn off the dishwasher's water supply underneath the sink. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the Maytag dishwasher outer door panel. It's going to be a very easy repair and it's only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new outer door panel. The outer door panel is part of the dishwasher door. The main reason you'll be changing it out is if it's damaged. In order to change the part, we have to pull the dishwasher out. First thing we're going to do is go underneath the sink and disconnect the lines. Now that we're underneath the cabinets, you want to make sure that the dishwasher is still unplugged, and you may want to throw a towel down. When we take off the fill line and the drain hose, there's going to be some water that comes out. First, we're going to disconnect the fill line. It's connected right here to the hot water valve. You want to make sure the water valve is off, and then we're going to use our 5/8" wrench to loosen up the hose. Once you have it broke free, you can just reach in and unscrew it by hand. Once you have it off, you can just set it down, and then we can take off the drain hose. To take the drain hose off, you just want to follow it up to wherever it goes. It may go to the garbage disposal. Ours goes up to the air gap. Once you locate the end of it, we're going to take a 5/16 nut driver and loosen up the clamp. Once you have the clamp loose, you can pull it free and set it down. Now that we have the lines disconnected, you can open up the dishwasher door and use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the screws that hold the dishwasher to the countertop. Now that we have the screws out, we're going to lift up on the door and use it to carefully pull the dishwasher out a little bit. Once you have it started, we can grab the frame and we're going to pull it out 3/4 of the way. You want to leave the tail of the dishwasher underneath the cabinets so it doesn't fall over while we're working on it. Once you have it out, you can close the door. Now that we have the dishwasher out, we have to disconnect the door springs on each side. We're going to disconnect the link down here on the hinge. All you have to do is lift it off. Once you have it off, you can just leave it hanging by the spring. Once you have this side off, we can do the one on the other side. Now that we have both springs off, we're going to open up the door. There's no springs on it, so you want to be careful and just set it down carefully. Once you have it open, we can use the Torx 20 driver to take out all the screws that hold the inner door liner on. Now that we have all the screws out, we can lift up the inner door liner. You don't want to lift it up too high. We have to take the wires off the vent assembly. We're going to use a flathead screwdriver to help take the wire harness off. There's a double black on the top and a purple on the bottom. All you have to do is carefully pop the wire harness off. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. On the dispenser, there's a brown wire in the back and a double black in the front. You can use a small flathead screwdriver to help take the wire harness off if you need to. Once you have it off, you can set the wiring harness down, and then we can lift the inner door panel off and set it aside. Now we can use the 1/4" nut driver to take out the 3 screws that hold the control board in. Once you have all the screws out, we're going to lift the cover off and set it aside. Once you have the cover out of the way, we have to disconnect the ribbon cable that comes from the control panel. So we're going to unlock the collar right here. All you have to do is pull on it and release it. Once you have it unlocked, you can pull the ribbon cable out. Then we can lift the control board off and set it down onto the door panel and lift up on the door switch assembly. It's only snapped into place. All you have to do is lift up on it. We're going to put those assemblies onto the door. And we can use the 1/4" nut driver to take out the screws that hold on the control panel. As you're taking the last 2 screws out, you want to make sure you hold on to the control panel so it doesn't fall. Once you have all 4 screws out, you can slide the control panel off the door so these tabs release. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. Next, we can remove the grounding wire that's attached to the door hinge. We can use a 5/16" nut driver to take it out. Once you have the grounding screw off, we're going to take the foam seal off. If it's attached to the door panel, you have to carefully pull it off the door panel. If it's damaged and you can't reuse it, then you're going to have to replace it. But just make sure it's not stuck onto the door panel. Once you have it free, we're going to use the 1/4" nut driver. We're going to put the cover back on the control board just to protect it while we put it in the dishwasher. Now we're going to take the control board and the door switch and put these assemblies up into the lower dish rack. Once you have them in there, we're going to carefully pull the insulation and the foam seal out and put that on top of it. Now that we have the insulation and the controls out of the way, we're going to put a towel on the countertop so we don't scratch it when we work on the door. To get the door off the frame, you just want to lift up on it a little bit so these tabs come out. Once you have the tabs released, you want to lift straight up on the hinges. You don't want to go too far, otherwise the flats won't line up. Once you have the hinge pins out, you can close the door as you're lifting on it. Once you have it free, you can pull it off the machine and set it on the towel. Once you have the door on the towel, we're going to use the 5/16" nut driver to take out the screws that hold the hinges on. Once you have both screws out, you can pull the hinge out and set it aside. We can do the other one. Once you have both hinges off, we can put them onto the new one. Here's the old outer door panel next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. The new door panel has a protective coating on it. You're going to have to peel that off before you put it on. Once you have the panel set down, we can put the hinges on it. All you have to do is line the hinges up and slide them into place. Once you have the screw holes lined up, you can use the 5/16" nut driver to put the screws in. Now that we have the hinges on, we can put the new outer door panel onto the dishwasher. To put the outer door on, you want to make sure that the hinge arms go on the outer side of the hinge pin receivers, just above them a little bit. Then you can push it back and drop the hinge pins down into the receivers. Once you have it on both sides, you can lower the door down. And we can put everything back on. To put the control panel back on, all you have to do is line it up and slide it onto the panel. You want to make sure that the 4 locking tabs in the middle go above the panel. Then we can use the 1/4" nut driver to put in the screws and hold it on. Now we can pull the insulation down. Just going to carefully get it lined up in the door. You want to make sure the foam seal goes back into place and is lined up where it was on the old door. Once you have it down in place, you can pull the ribbon cable through. Put that on in a minute. Then we can grab the electronics and put it back into place. Just want to carefully lift them out of the lower rack and swing them into place. Once you have the electronics set back in place, we can grab the 5/16" nut driver and put the grounding screw back in. Then we can use the 1/4" nut driver to put in the 2 screws that hold in the control board. Once you have it secure, we're going to take out the screw that holds the cover on. Once you have it out, you can take the cover off and set it aside. And then we can reconnect the ribbon cable for the touchpad. To connect the cable, you just have to carefully push it into the control board. Once you have it seated, we're going to pull the collar towards the top of the door and lock it in place. Once you have it secure, we can put the cover back on. Use the 1/4-inch nut driver to put the screw back in. Now we can put the inner door back on. All you have to do is set it down into the tub. You want to make sure that the bottom of the inner panel goes into the tub, and you can lower it down. As you're lowering it down, we have to reconnect the wiring harnesses to the dispenser and the vent. All you have to do is plug them on. Remember, the dispenser had the brown wire in the back, the black wires in the front. All you have to do is push them on so you get a good connection. We can lower it down a little bit more and do the vent. To hook up the vent wiring harness, all you have to do is grab the wire harness and plug it on. Remember, there's the double black on the top and the purple on the bottom. Just need to push it on so you get a good connection. Once you have it on, we can lower the door down. Once you have it lowered into place, we can use the Torx 20 driver to put the screws back in. When you put the screws back in, you'll notice there's two different lengths. The longer ones go across the control panel, and the shorter ones go down the sides of the door. Once you have all the screws in, we can close the dishwasher door. To put this spring and the cable back on, we're just going to grab the cable and stretch out the spring so it goes down around the roller. Once you have it around the roller, we can hook the link onto the hinge arm. Once you have it in place, we can do the one on the other side. Now that we have this side on, we can push the dishwasher back into the cabinet. We can go underneath the sink and pull on the lines to make sure they're not caught on anything. Then we can push the dishwasher in the rest of the way. Now we can reconnect the drain hose to the air gap. Once you have it pushed up into place, we're going to use our 5/16" nut driver to tighten down the clamp. Once you have the drain line hooked up, we can hook up the water line. All you have to do is get it started by hand. Once you have it snug, we can reach in with our 5/8" wrench to tighten it down so it doesn't leak. Now that we have the lines reconnected, we can open up the dishwasher door and use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws that hold the dishwasher to the countertop. Now that we have the screws in, we can close the dishwasher door. Then we can plug it back in, turn the water back on, and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.